We have wars going on in the world over oil because of pricing of oil. And if we take the same path with water, that's oil all over again.
The world is running out of fresh water. People will do anything. They'll give anything, their life savings, their house, anything for water. Traditionally, water has been delivered as a public service by governments. But in the last 10 years, 3 major water companies from Europe have started delivering water on a for-profit basis in many parts of the world. They are very powerful. They're all among the top 100 corporations, Fortune 500 companies. They're very wealthy. They're growing very fast. And basically, developing countries, poor countries, are being forced all over the world to hand over basic control of their water systems to a for-profit multinational from Europe or far away.
Suez is one of the 2 world leaders in the water distribution, water treatment in the world.
I'm working with a French company, a large water operator called Vivendi Environment.
We are active in more than 100 different countries.
We are active since 150 years. So we are a very long-term operator in water business.
El objetivo de la privatización fue el de dotar del servicio de agua potable y alcantarillado en las ciudades de La Paz y El Alto. Pero durante todo este proceso evidenciamos que solamente en la ciudad del Alto quedan excluidos 208,000 personas del servicio de agua potable.
No tenemos ni agua, ni luz. Ahí está, con esta polvadera se nos ensucia la ropa más. Y hasta nos trata de que somos tan sucios. No es porque uno quiere, sino que porque no hay agua.
Gente humilde, ¿no? Algunos apenas hacen alcanzar para el consumo. Y si vamos a hacer privatizar, la gente de dónde va a traer dinero.
Nosotros hemos dicho que Aguas del Illimani se tiene que ir. Vecinos no tienen agua, no tienen alcantarillado.
Como ustedes posiblemente se han enterado mediante la prensa en sus países, nosotros aquí en Bolivia estamos llegando a sufrir.
Pueden comprarle a nuestro dirigente, pero no nos van a comprar a todos.
This is a country in which nearly 1 out of every 10 children will die before the age of 5. And most of those deaths are related to illnesses that come from a lack of clean drinking water. So when people of El Alto say enough with water privatization, it's because if they don't have access to clean drinking water, their children's health is at risk. Why did Bolivia privatize the water systems of Cochabamba and El Alto? It's not like Bolivian citizens decided it was a good idea. Water privatization was absolutely forced on Bolivia by the World Bank. In 1997, the World Bank told Bolivia that if they did not privatize the water system of Cochabamba and El Alto La Paz, that they were going to be cut off from water development loans by the World Bank.
Yo creo que esa es la privatización para nosotros una lucha contra la muerte, ¿no? La lucha por la vida, porque la vida siga siendo una vida donde nuestros hijos, nuestros nietos, nosotros podamos disfrutarla, ¿no? Es una lucha entre una vida digna, una vida con alegría o una vida con sometimiento, una vida con amargura, con angustia, con inseguridad, que no es vida.
Ngo-2000 ngoSeptember mhla 19 wagula waphathwa yisisu. Shothi wagula nje 3 days. Shothi kwakwenziwa amanzi siwasebenzisayo. Amanzi nje angahlanzekile sasiwakhe emfuleni. Kusho ukuthi nje ngingabe ukuthi njengoba ngimdala la ekhaya ngizizwa ngumuntu ogqilazeke kakhulu. Abafundayo engazi ukuthi ngabafundisa ngani kanjani ngabondla ngani kanjani.
Akukho kusithembisa okungcono ngoba nakho lokho okuzayo okwemali vele. Okuphoqa ukuthi imali uma ungenayo ugcina futhi ubuyelile khona emfuleni. Phindela khona lapho emfuleni ungcolile. Bake bafika basitshela ukuthi funa mangabe sibuye kowakha siwenze njani. Kokungabe ezempilo. Shuthi akwenele ngoba manje ngisho ungawakha nakho vele lokho abathi asikusebenzise kuyimali. Imali mayingekho ayikho into ongayenza. Kuyikho ukuthi vese phuze wona enjengoba enjalo. Esisuke sisaba kodwa uma amanzi engekho ayikho into ongayenza. Yikho kuvela uphuze khona lokho noma ukwazi thina.
We have waiting here 5 hours. Sometimes that water comes, sometimes they don't come. Sometimes we can spend 4 weeks without water. Yeah, every day we can come and open. Nothing, there's nothing.
Cost recovery is kind of the new Bible, you know, that we have in South Africa, that everybody must pay for whatever service you get. And for rich people, that's obviously not a problem. But when it comes to the really poor, you wouldn't believe it, but 5 rand, which is less than $1, is a lot of money for rural communities. So you find that the poorest of the poor, they're only taking 1 bucket, but if you work out how much they paid for that bucket, it's actually more than a richer person would have paid in an urban community for that water, and it's unjust.
At first, when these private companies went into developing countries, they were welcomed by the people because they were going to bring water and they were going to bring investments. Of course, what people didn't understand was that they're not bringing new investments. It's paid for by the public purse and by the World Bank. Then they came in and they raised prices and they didn't deliver good quality water and they cut poor people off and they fired public servants and their record was a disaster.
They are bringing water to poor areas, but they're bringing the water where you have to put in a little card to get that water.
This country is perhaps the leaders in a new technology, prepayment. The consumer needs to pay up front for the supply of water. You've actually got to change the thinking, the culture of people to understand that they should pay. You shouldn't have to force them to pay. They should want to pay.
By telling a woman who's got nothing, in order to get your water, you must put in a card that takes your meager amount of money. What is she going to do but go to the river and take that dirty water and die of cholera? And then you say people don't know how to practice hygiene.
The people here don't know. We just asked them. They don't know that they're getting prepaid water meters.
With what we've done with
They
don't have a choice. These people are poor. They don't have a choice. They're not being educated about the implications of the whole process.
They don't even know they have
because you don't give them a choice.
It's impossible. You're insulting me.
You're always worried.
So we are going. People are to pay regarding what they consume.
When you know that,
how can you tell?
The placards of the post-liberation period said, free water, free electricity, houses for all. What was actually happening was that many people were having their electricity disconnected, their water disconnected, and were being evicted from these very homes that the government said they were in improved conditions.
The water has been stopped and we just battle and, try and get water from, from containers and things like that.
They talk about water in school and water is precious, very precious.
And water is so important, We didn't need to use water all the time. So we don't know.
When you hear people saying the water for the people, we have no problem. Water should not be a commodity, we have no problem. We are just the operator, like an hotel operator, who operate the system because we have a very long-term experience. We sell our knowledge.
We have a know-how. We have the technology. We know how to organize very big networks, bringing water to the homes. Today, more than 30,000 people are dying every day from water disease. The ideal objective would be to bring clean water to everyone.
C'est des sociétés qui ont été créées il y a 150 ans, par des banquiers. C'est ça qui est important de savoir.
There are private corporate interests that have decided that water is going to be put on the open market for sale. It's going to be commodified and treated as any other saleable good.
The dream of pure water for all is within reach for the humankind.
The World Water Council was created at a meeting of big, powerful water interests in 1997. They came together to promote corporate takeover of water. They will not tell you that. They'll say they came together to bring water to the world's people. But if you look at who is at that founding meeting, it's all the big water corporations, it's the World Bank, it's a lot of the international development agencies. And so they came together to promote a vision of a water future that's based on water as a market good.
How can you keep loaning poor countries money to meet their basic needs? It is completely predictable that what happens is poor countries end up with debts they can't afford, and that debt becomes the noose around their neck with which the World Bank and the IMF become the government.
There is a political set of questions to be asked around this. Who owns water? Who gets to make the decisions about water? Why is this group, the World Water Council and the World Bank and these big water corporations, why have they got to set themselves up as a global high command of water and make decisions for the rest of us? Who exactly elected them?
Quand le président du Conseil mondial de l'eau, qui organise tous les grands forums à la gloire des multinationales, n'est autre que le président d'une société à Marseille qui appartient à 50% à Vivendi, 50% à Suez. Et quand vous savez que Michel Canne-Dessus, qui est l'ancien président du FMI, et qui a comme ses deux conseillers principaux les deux numéros 2 de Suez et de Veolia, on a compris, tout est contrôlé, vicié. Simplement, les gens ne le savent pas.
And this is a club that decided, I think before the rest of us understood, that water is the most precious commodity for them in the world. It's blue gold. They're going to make tons of money, and more importantly than money, because you really need to compare fresh water with oil. It's about power. It's about which sectors of society, which countries, which governments, which corporations are going to control the blue gold of the future.
Water is for survival, and who owns the water for survival owns you. And that's the picture that people have to understand.